Hi everyone, welcome to Catholic Girl Talk. My name is Olivia. We are going to talk about restoring the feminine heart. If you're new here, please subscribe, click the bell so you get notified, follow me on Instagram, and get in on all that's going on here in our little corner of the YouTube. So again, going back to the Garden of Eden, right? Eve picked the wrong fruit. She grasped at the fruit and didn't find what she was looking for. So in the same way, we don't have to grasp all of the lies that our culture is telling us that we should be as modern women. In fact, Mary didn't grasp, she received. When the angel Gabriel came to her to announce that she was to be the mother of God, she said yes. Now, in her saying yes, she received the fruit, right? The fruit of that yes was receiving Christ into her heart. And the angel uses the word, blessed is the fruit of your womb. He comes to us in the Eucharist as our true food and drink, right? He is the antidote to Eve grasping the wrong fruit, right? Jesus is the true food and drink. And as if that wasn't clear enough, Jesus was born in a food trough. I heard that from a religious sister, so Christ is the true fruit that we want to bear to the world as women. So Carrie Gress wrote a lot about the origins of feminism in her book, The Anti-Mary Exposed, and Rescuing the Culture from Toxic Femininity. Again, I would only recommend this to girls ages 18 and older. But she talks about how most of the leaders of radical feminism, and we're not talking about like the right to vote, we're talking about women throwing away who they are and going against their nature to be something they are not, right? So most of the leaders of this type of radical feminism of like competing with men and all this stuff came from very broken homes, right? Broken relationships. A lot of them had mental illnesses. And this shows that somewhere along the lines, right, their desires to be cherished, to be loved, to be a gift were not met. And so here was soil for the evil one to plant lies in their heart. And then they went on to do all these crazy things, and if you're over 18, you can read about it in the book. But we don't have to look far to see, as Carrie Gress says, the feminist responses to the world's problems have actually further enslaved women in poverty, broken relationships, diseased bodies, empty homes, and so on. So we don't have to look far to see that there's just a lot of disaster and confusion about what it means to be a woman. But the good news is that we are going to go back to the heart, right? So that piece that was missing in some of these women's lives and could often be missing in our life, right, is that going back to the heart of who we were created to be, peeling back those layers of lies to discover our true self. It reminds me of the gospel story of the woman at the well, right? She comes to Jesus bringing her empty jar. Why? Because she's had 6 partners and her jar is empty, right? She is not finding what she is looking for. She is trying to fill her jar with things that do not satisfy her thirst. And so for our purposes, we're going to imagine that jar is her feminine heart, right? She's been filling it with all these counterfeits, and we can talk about all these lies that fill it. So when Christ comes along, who is the 7th man in her life, right, she finds the only person who can truly fulfill that desire in her heart, because deep down her heart was made for Christ. She finds living water that will fill the empty jar of her heart. And the most beautiful imagery, it says in the Bible, in the gospel, she left her water jar, right? She left her water jar at the feet of Jesus. Go read it in the Bible, it's beautiful. And this detail stuck out to me because I realized it was then that she had filled her feminine heart with Christ and his love. And the overflow of that living water, that relationship with Christ, then became this joy. And this joy evangelized her whole town. Many of the people in her town converted. So we can talk all we want about women need to do this or women need to do that or whatever. But again, in her book, Carrie Gress references the story of Moana, the Disney princess, and how Moana had to give this heart back to the very monstrous enemy that she was trying to keep it from in the first place. And Carrie Gress pointed out that this is like giving women's heart back to them, right? Restoring the heart. She says we must be, quote, giving women their heart back, unquote. And this is a personal journey of restoration for each and every one of us. And the answer to finding that restored heart, oh, here's a quote from her. He offers the kind of love that women's hearts crave, to be known just as we are, intimately, uniquely, and purposefully. At the end of the day, that is what we are longing for as women, as humans, and only Christ can fulfill that. In this book, Wisdom from the Women We Love, I wrote a little story in here. And in it, I wrote, Christ himself is pursuing our hearts. All he asks of us is that we find in him all of our heart's desires. That is the secret to and the heart of authentic femininity. So you may be thinking, yeah, I heard all this stuff about relationship with Jesus. I know, blah, blah, blah. How is that related to being a woman? Go back and watch the video. No. What's filling my jar that is not letting Christ come in and be that overflowing fountain of joy and love and purpose in my life? Is it a bad relationship with an earthly father that needs healing? Is it a simple pattern we keep turning back to? Is it shopping? Is it grasping at material things? Is it not giving God time for daily prayer? A lot of us already have prayer lives, but is it that we just let it be routine and mundane? Maybe you need to go to confession. Maybe that's the thing that you need to do to then grow in your relationship with God. We're all growing, and we're always just going to be growing deeper, hopefully. So start where you are. My relationship with Jesus, there were certainly moments along the way. It was just from when I was little, my relationship with Jesus was there, and it just grew as I got older, and as things happened in my life and like something needs to change, that thing changed and the relationship grew. So just keep that in mind. Just be open to it. Heal those things in your heart that are keeping you from being open. And check out any other Catholic Girl Talk videos that may help you on these topics. And don't forget to subscribe, click the bell, follow on Instagram. So ladies, go out there and start asking yourself how you can restore your feminine heart. Ask Christ to restore your feminine heart. Have a beautiful day, and God bless. As always, have a beautiful day. Wait. I'm so excited. This is like such an exciting topic. What? In her book, where did it go? Okay. Well, I don't know where the book went, but oh, here it is. The Anti-Mary Exposed, and the most beautiful imagery